Hey guys, Theterrainguy here. Just doing the final filming of the project that I've just completed. Here's the board right here. It's of course a Flames of War board. It's 6x4 in measurement. You can see the buildings on this one are not painted yet, so I apologize for the white of the buildings, but everything else is complete. I'll just give a quick walk around here and then I'll give you the features and I'll do some still shots in between so you can kind of see what's going on. There's a lot going on this board, as is the case pretty much with all the pieces that I do. There's a lot to kind of add to a board in order to make it look realistic, so that's the attempt here. Use various styles of trees, and I'll kind of go through a tile by tile and really give you a full rundown, so I apologize for it's going to be a lengthy sort of video, but if you really want to know what's on the board, then just stick with the video and you'll see some cool things, I think. So, alright, I'll bring you down to this area here. I'll kind of do it area by area. So this area here, what we have is it's a little farmhouse. Just some added little details here. What I've done is, oops, sorry about that, there we go. Just add a little wood pile here with a little axe. Of course you got some cut down trees because you can't have a wood pile without having some sort of source of lumber, so we got right there. In addition to that, there is a small pen here, or a paddock, with some sheep in it. Zoom in, just give you a shot of those. Got them laying down in kind of a hay field here, and then, of course, little bocage gates. So that's it for this section. The next section here that we have is kind of a continuation of the previous one. Here we have a little area with some sheep kind of hiding out in it. Again, that's kind of framed in by a section of bocage, so kind of see here, this is a little field, not much going on in the field itself, just some grazing animals, and it's a nice space if you were going to put some artillery or something in. That would be a great spot to have them, and they're kind of framed in. And if they're on the back edge, they'd actually be 4 inches from the bocage, so it would be able to be placed in there. It'd be a little bit tight, but you'd have to use your imagination. So again, just continuing. Of course, here's one of the crop rows here. It's got the soybeans down in it. So again, you can just see the real nice detail of the rock sticking out here. And there is a seam right there. Of course, you can kind of see it, but as soon as you change slight elevations, the seam sort of disappears. And that's the whole idea with this. These boards are built to be viewed at model level, not above. So of course, all the seams disappear as you come down to model level. Moving at the next section here, it's just a little wheat field, standard wheat field. And what I've chosen to do here is run a train track through, and I'll just kind of zoom you along the rail there so you can kind of see up there's the crossing. Then it sort of just continues down and goes around the bend. So a nice little feature, add a little bend into this one just to kind of give it a little bit more character. And you can see the rails too. The rails, what I do when I put them down is I actually put a little bit of bend and flex into them so they aren't perfectly straight. And then again, you can see with the track itself, I'm adding a little bit of rock and ballast up over the rails just to signify that these rails have settled down over time as the weight's gone over. So just little things add a little bit of realism to the build and make it overall, I think, slightly more realistic. Okay, so just panning over here, so section, a little gatehouse here. What I wanted to show you here is all the trees. What I've done with them is I put them on these discs, so the magnets are there, and the magnets are sort of hidden down into the board. What I've done is I've actually not painted over the magnets, just as a courtesy to the customer, because I conveniently know where every tree goes. However, he or she will not know where they go. So later on, they can just add a little bit of green paint or brown paint. But for purposes of shipping and initial contact with the board, I don't paint them over. But what the beauty is if I have to place something in and around here, what I can do is I can actually just displace these trees ever so slightly. I just move them to the other side of this fence, for instance, and then it doesn't lose the effect. I don't have to worry about putting trees on a side table. I don't have to worry about storing them on another section of the table and then possibly forgetting where they go or anything like that. So they're all standalone. They're all decorative bases, so they look fine no matter where they are, and then you can still use that area. It's still functional without losing really the appeal of it, because ideally. That's why they're there to start with, just add to the appeal. So here's a gatehouse. Here, just add a little walkway in the front, a little bit of a little bit of shrubbery to the side, and then sort of trailing off. I like to use, as people know, I like to use trees on the outside. There you can see over there, as on the outside, just to sort of frame the board and sort of draw the attention in and give the illusion that the trees continue off board. So the next section, what do we got here? Just a little foresty area here, and again continuing into the back side here. Kind of put this little kind of cool feature in. I had trouble with the seam going over here for this fence. Of course, when you run anything across that's supposed to be solid, it's difficult to cut it and create a flawless seam. So what I've actually done here is make it appear as if they have decided to make their own entrance and sort of blasted away the fence section and through the stone wall. And I think the overall effect's pretty decent, actually. I really liked this little feature here. So gives a nice little breakthrough point. It also makes this sort of long and passable area have a secondary entrance, so you can move your troops in and through. Of course, a tank wouldn't fit, so it'll be obviously it would be made by, say, a bazooka or a Panzerfaust or something like that. So infantry can move through, but tanks are unable to. So, and it's a nice little fence too. I did a stone wall and sort of a wrought iron look to kind of elevate the fence and kind of make it look a little more like a manor or possibly headquarters of some sort. In the front area, what I've done, just to kind of stick with that motif or that theme. Sorry, I apologize for the shakiness of this. First time using this camera, really. So there I done some wrought iron gates as well as a box hedge around. So I was going to frame the entire thing in, but I thought it'd be a bit much. So I wanted to make the area a little more accessible. So, and here in the courtyard, it goes across 3 seams. So what I've done is I've actually made a small wooden flower box, added some flowers, and added a lamppost. I had a lamppost from a previous project. This one was broken. It didn't actually light up anymore. So I've left a pin through the bottom, and then I've left a little access point, and I've just shaded ever so lightly where that goes because the point's quite small. Just plug it into the base of the board, sits there and creates a nice little space. Again, if you need to use the courtyard for anything, just pop that out and you're good to go. So that sort of finishes off that area, and we'll move on to the next section.